Think about the coating on a chocolate. You want it to be shiny. You want it to snap. You want it to be thin and uniform and also in harmony with the filling that is covering. And that requires a great amount of skill and also really adds to your overall experience of tasting the chocolate.
I'm Christine Cyr-Clisette.
I'm Kyra Blackwell.
I'm Rosie Guerin, and you're listening to The Wirecutter Show.
Rosie.
Hello.
It's going to be your favorite episode we've ever done today.
Why?
I guarantee, because we are going to get to taste some amazing chocolates.
I do love chocolate.
So, yeah, it's the run-up to Valentine's Day. We were racking our brains. What could we do for this episode? There's so many things Wirecutter covers that would be appropriate, but we haven't covered boxed chocolates yet, and we have a really, really great guide to boxed chocolates.
I like that you've been gently nudging us toward this episode for a long time, and I'm sort of upset that it's taken this long. But there's no time like the present.
Well, a good idea is always a good idea. So today we are going to bring on Gabriella Gershenson. She is Wirecutter's kitchen editor who oversees all of our taste tests. So she has a really fun job. She is coordinating taste tests in our office all the time. She's also a seasoned food writer. She has over 20 years of experience writing about food, tasting food, doing all the food things that food journalists do. She has won a James Beard Award for a book she co-wrote called Love Japan. And she knows a ton about chocolate. For our guide to boxed chocolates, she's tasted close to 24 brands of chocolate. So she's going to come in with some real knowledge for us.
I'm coming for her job.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to talk to Gabby after the break, and later we're going to eat some chocolate.
That's right.
And it's going to be great.
I'm excited.
Be right back.
Gabriella, welcome to the Wirecutter Show.
Thank you for having me.
Very happy to have you. Starting with the most important question, I think, which is, how did you end up with the job of testing boxed chocolates? Because it sounds awful. I'm really sorry that you ended up with the assignment. How did it evolve?
It's been hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we do a guide once, then we do it again, and we do it again, and we do it again. And a lot of the times, the authors might start off very much energized by the subject matter, and then after, I don't know, a handful of years, they're ready to hand it off. So I inherited this guide from my colleague, Leslie Stockton, and I just grabbed on really tight, and I'm not going to let go. So don't get any ideas, anyone.
Well, I'm curious. There are so many boxed chocolates to choose from, and I'm sure there's a ton that just crop up all the time. So how did you go about sort of narrowing down what you were going to test for this guide? And what are the kind of criteria you're looking for in boxed chocolate?
Well, there is a baseline criteria, and what we're really looking for is quality and deliciousness. And so when we're talking about quality, we're talking about purity of ingredients. So high quality chocolate, usually which is made from cocoa mass, cocoa butter, and sugar, and is lacking vegetable oils, for instance, which can be used to supplement lower quality chocolates, but really change the flavor and the mouthfeel of the chocolate. Quality of ingredients also extends to the fillings. So you don't want to be seeing artificial flavors. You want to be seeing fresh, high-quality ingredients like dairy, nuts, herbs, fruit. It really comes across in the tasting. There's no substituting a good ingredient when you are eating. It's like, Italian cooking is very simple because it all relies on the quality of the ingredients. And the principle really carries over to all of our testing, and it's especially relevant in boxed chocolates because there are so many products out there that are fun and tasty, but they're candy. They're not a high-quality confection.
So is it fair to say if you're looking at an ingredient list on a box of chocolate and there are a bunch of words you can't pronounce, it's probably a good sign that it doesn't have like the highest quality ingredients. It should be simple. It should be things that you kind of understand what they are.
Yes, unless there's some cacao pod from South America whose name you can't pronounce, which is probably a good sign.
Okay.
Are there any other qualities that you're testing for?
Absolutely. So boxed chocolates are really interesting. They're not just a recipe, they're a craft. So the person who is making a box of chocolates has so many factors to work into this little tiny edible experience. So think about the coating on a chocolate. You want it to be shiny, you want it to snap, you want it to be thin and uniform and also in harmony with the filling that it's covering. And that requires a great amount of skill and also really adds to your overall experience of tasting the chocolate. And flavor. You look at the menu at a restaurant and you order a pecan pie and it shows up and there's like 3 pecans in it. And you're like, well, this should just be called a butter tart because there's no pecans in it. So there is a managing of expectations. On the little key or legend in every chocolate box, there is kind of a promise that exists. And when you taste that chocolate, you want the flavor of the chocolate to match up to the promise of it. You want the chocolate to coat your mouth in a pleasant way, not in a waxy, oily way. You want flavor to bloom and open up as it reaches your body temperature. There's also a visual element. You want it to look appetizing. You want the box to be pretty. You want it to come packaged the way it was intended to and not all jostled and dented. And that is a consideration also with Wirecutter because we're telling people to buy things through mail order a lot of the time. And we have to reassure them that, yes, you're paying $90 for a box of chocolates and a lot of that is going into shipping, but they're going to show up looking good. So it's kind of stressful just telling you all about it because you really have to be on your game to put out a beautiful and delicious box of chocolates.
I mean, all of that strikes me as so sensuous, right? It's like using all of the senses, which makes a great Valentine's gift, right? If you really get a nice box of chocolates, if you've ever experienced that, it is really, really special. And it's kind of like you enjoy each one and it's like you can savor them. It's not something you want to gobble.
Experiential.
Yes, exactly.
So thinking about the 40-plus brands Wirecutter has tested of boxed chocolates over the years, can you talk about some of the different categories that boxed chocolates might fall into?
Yes. I think that as Americans, when we think boxed chocolates, we think about Russell Stovers and Whitman's and C's. And that's, for me, in a way, the platonic ideal. We're still looking for an excellent example of that style of chocolate, but we do have some picks that migrate more into that territory, for instance. I think of that as like an American style boxed chocolate. We also have chocolates these days that really seem to be expressions of a pastry chef. There's Melissa Capel chocolates, which are one of our picks. And it's quite extraordinary. It's almost Willy Wonka-esque. The exterior of the chocolate is beautiful. There are these very swirly, saturated colors. And that's a style that's popular now. It's really the interior that sets it apart. And what she does is she has distinct components that when you cut through just to see the cross-section, it's like a little tweezers put everything into its rightful place. And on top of that, the flavors really come through. So I think of that as almost more like a chef-driven chocolate. You have chocolates that are perhaps more for the chocolate purists, like dandelion chocolate that I brought here today. It is purely ganache. Dandelion chocolate makes bean to bar chocolate, which means they manufacture their chocolate from the cacao bean in-house to create their chocolate bars and bonbons.
Wow.
And what's fascinating about this box is that it is single origin truffle. They're each made from a single origin chocolate from a different place.
Oh, so this is really like my mom, who is going to close her eyes and be like, you know what? This is 85%, and I think this is, and she'll name a country or something.
There's that, but there's also, they give you these tasting notes. This is next level, right? Because we're saying, if you say the chocolate's going to be like a hazelnut chocolate, it needs to taste like hazelnuts. Okay, that's like good baseline. In the dandelion single origin chocolate truffles, they're telling you that you're tasting strawberry, you're tasting caramel, but it's just chocolate. And then when you taste them, you're like, come on, am I really going to taste these things? And what our tasting panel and I found was like, yes, you really do. And each chocolate, which is just dark chocolate, has a distinct flavor from the next one. So you can get it's funny because Christine, you said is very sensual. You also get very cerebral with these.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
you can really go deep.
It sounds a little bit like people who are really into coffee, and you have all these notes that you're like, this has got, molasses and whatever. You're not saying that there's actually banana flavoring in that chocolate. It's actually the presentation of some kind of banana type flavor that's coming out in the chocolate.
It's to pull out one of the most pretentious words in food description, the terroir, which is that the chocolate comes from a very specific place.
Right.
So it's an expression of the place and an expression of how the chocolate was processed. It's extraordinary how it can impact the flavor.
These are expensive. A lot of these boxes are $50, $60, maybe $90. If anybody has gone to go buy a really nice box of chocolates, they might have been like, I don't know, am I going to pull the trigger? Beyond good ingredients, what makes a box of chocolate worth that much?
Yes. Well, one thing to keep in mind, we talked about quality of ingredients, price of ingredients, prices of chocolate, cocoa, cacao. It fluctuates wildly. And I reached out to some of the chocolatiers who we do feature in the guide just to get a sense of why our chocolate's so expensive. And Kate Schaefer from Ragged Coast Chocolates in Maine said that she's paying 74% more for chocolate than she did 3 years ago.
Ooh.
And that there were crop failures in Africa, there are tariffs in Latin America, and people who we feature, they're buying very high quality cacao, and it's being impacted by, global considerations. Also, many of these places are small businesses. In fact, most of them are. So we're comparing them head to head with these mass-produced, factory-made products that, while they're a wonderful kind of wallpaper in our lives and maybe we like to eat them and enjoy them, they operate on completely different scales. And, many of these businesses, most of them are independently owned. Many of them are women-owned. And they're paying skilled laborers to make a very specific product. So it's a very fair question. And I dog-eared for the future. I would like to get a good budget pick, at least one good budget pick for this guide for the future. But this is a luxury item.
Right.
That's basically what it is.
I think that's helpful framing, though.
It is, for
to be
sure.
thinking like, oh, this is something that is very, very special, that is a not all the time type of a treat.
It is. That's the bummer of it, right? It's nice if you have a local shop where you can go in and you don't have to commit to a 12-piece box of chocolates. Maybe you can buy fewer chocolates and then it doesn't cost as much. If somebody wants to spend less money but still have a high-end chocolate experience, it's not as fun as a box of chocolates, but a really good bar of chocolate. If you're buying the Cadillac of artisanal chocolate, you're still going to be spending under $20. I also think that there is a lot of fun to buy the chocolate of your youth, to get the Toblerone bar, to get, I think Ferrero Rocher is really making a comeback. I would like to see Almond Roca make a comeback. I interviewed Michael Recchiuti, who his Recchiuti chocolates are our overall pick for bonbons. And I asked, what's your favorite supermarket chocolate? Some of the confectioners who I asked abstained from answering. But
I take the fifth.
I take the fifth. But for Michael, it was, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups and Junior Mints. And there is joy to be found outside of the gastronomic height that chocolates can achieve. And sometimes if you don't have the cash to spend or you don't want to, just find a joy some other way.
I do so love a Junior Mint.
I do. I love those in the freezer. And that's my favorite place to keep them. Okay, so what I'm hearing here, Gabriella, is that if you are looking for a box of chocolates for Valentine's Day or beyond, maybe it's a gift, a special gift for someone, what you're really wanting to look for are high quality ingredients. Anything that's in our guide is going to fit that bill. When you might get a little sticker shocked by the prices, there are reasons why these boxes of chocolate are really expensive. They're not just gouging you. It is really the quality of ingredients they're buying, the scale at which they're working, the amount of effort and work that goes into making these beautiful little confections. And that if you are not able or desiring to spend that much, you might want to think about gourmet bar chocolate as a gift. That would be a good place to go if you're still wanting sort of that gourmet experience. without having to spend $90, $50. You could spend under 20 and get a great bar of chocolate. But also, no shade if you want to get something cheaper. If you want to go for sort of those like classic candy type bars, that's also great and delicious.
A heart-shaped box might just do it, and it won't really matter what's inside. But since we are Wirecutter, it is our duty to tell you where to find the best chocolates. And if you're going to spend money on boxed chocolates, because it's not unusual to spend $60 on a box of chocolates when you see what's out there, we want you to know what's worth the money.
One of the most memorable gifts I received for my wedding 16 years ago, I got lots of beautiful gifts, but it was a box of chocolate from Maison de Chocolat. And I'd never had their chocolate before, and it was so special and so awesome. And I still remember that as just like a real wow kind of gift that my husband and I just savored for like 2 weeks, you know?
Why am I getting emotional?
We're going to take a quick break. On the other side, we're doing a taste test. Exciting. And we are going to do a little bit of a game with you, Gabby, where we match personality type with potential flavor profile of boxed chocolates that you might like. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Our guest today is our colleague on Wirecutter's kitchen team, Gabriella Gershenson. She wrote our guide to boxed chocolates. And now we get to my favorite part of the episode, where we're going to really get into all of our picks. I'm loving that we're about to geek out majorly on all of these different boxes.
Not to pull from that enthusiasm and excitement, I'm going to get sad for just a second and ask you, Gabriella, about allergies. So I have allergies to tree nuts, to peanuts. Kyra, our other co-host, doesn't eat dairy. So I'm wondering what the boxed chocolate landscape looks like for people like us.
Yes. First of all, my condolences.
Thank you so much.
I think that it's very serious when you can have a physical reaction to food. And we do have an allergen-free pick that is actually manufactured in a facility that has no nuts, dairy, gluten. They're also vegan. The brand is Amore di Mona. They're very beautifully made little boxes. Actually, one of our more affordable picks, too.
Nice.
I brought a box of Stick With Me sweets, which are made here in New York City. The chocolatier comes from the kitchens of Per Se, which is for, our restaurant geeks, a Thomas Keller restaurant. Very
Très fancy.
Très fancy. Très fancy. And she offers a nut-free option. She offers a vegan option. We have a lot of vegan options. A lot of us preferred the vegan versions to the original versions because dairy has flavor, and a lot of the vegan chocolates seem to cut through some of the dairy flavor that you might find in chocolate. There was clarity in the vegan chocolates that even surpassed the clarity of flavor in the conventional chocolates. And that was very exciting. So we didn't feel like we were missing out.
What's the swap generally in vegan chocolate? If you're not using dairy, what are they upping in the vegan chocolate to compensate?
This is the part that is a little sad because a lot of it is nut-based. You might find almond milk in a milk chocolate that's vegan. Coconut, which I think is a tree nut issue.
It is a tree nut. I'm okay with it. And I also am generally okay with cross-contamination. A lot of people aren't. And so it is heartening to hear that there are picks that are created in a completely safe kitchen, because that, for a lot of folks I know, makes a difference, is really important and crucial.
I want to add more to the guide that are accessible to people with dietary restrictions.
You have described yourself as a bit of a chocolate concierge. So we're going to give you an archetype or a personality type or a specific scenario, and you tell us the boxed chocolate brand you'd match them with.
Okay.
So we'll call it, Who Is This For?
Okay. Is there a buzzer?
I'm just feeling like this should be a show. It should be like, wait, don't tell me.
Who is this for?
Okay, great. All right. All right, I'll start. chocolate traditionalist likes classic flavors.
Yes. So, Valerie Confections, it's really amazing how good her toffee is. If you like a snappy butter toffee, which I think is a very American style confection, she does the best that many of our tasters had ever had. And she also makes fantastic salted caramels and bourbon truffles, chocolate ganache. So I think a person who is looking to stay within that American, like chewy caramel palette, this could be a good choice. And there is also a brand called Chocolat Moderne. And do not let the French name trick you. It reminds me of like grandma's bonbons. They come in beautiful molded shapes. And there's marzipan fillings and jam fillings and cordials. And also, our pick happens to be vegan, the Chocolat Moderne, but by no means does it compromise the flavor in any way.
I love it. Okay, so how about for an adventurous eater? So someone who goes to a restaurant because they have a tasting menu.
So for the tasting menu lover in your life, I have two picks in mind. One of them, again, French. We do have to thank the French for many,
Let's take a
many
moment
of the
and thank the
finer
French.
things. Thank you. Richard is a brand. It's made in France, and there is a box that we have enjoyed. It has two little drawers. So the top drawer has a mosaic of little tiny, it's almost like an Alice in Wonderland, like a little tiny one-bite chocolate. Each one has a different flavor. And the flavor, it's extraordinary how much flavor they can get into one little cube. And they have herb flavors and nut flavors and fruit flavors. And we're talking yuzu and, hazelnut praline and thyme, and they've thought about every single flavor they could put in. And you take a little bite and you look at the key and you're like, oh, wow, that really does taste like that. And there's also a little tray of snappy, thin chocolate wafers. So they're just little, thin, tempered chocolate discs. And it's quite simple. And the percentage of the chocolate is printed on each little disc.
Man, oh man.
It's special, and it's also a very culinary experience.
If my husband is listening, that's the one I want. Thanks.
Okay. So yeah, that's I'm realizing I'm so effusive about all of these, but the ones that are really good are really, really good. Melissa Capel, I also mentioned her. She has a studio in Vegas, and it's like Willy Wonka. First of all, the exterior is beautiful, which I don't mention enough because I think often the exteriors can trick you into thinking you're getting something that you're not. But they just look like they're little domes, and they have these beautiful swirls of color that convey a depth. It's like a galaxy in a chocolate. They're glossy. The shells are impossibly thin, and the flavor, you cut into it, and it's like a perfect little construction. One of the flavors I mentioned in the guide is peanut butter ganache, and I forgot what kind of jam, and a little brioche crouton. It's like a peanut butter and jelly.
Oh, wow.
Another one was like a little yogurt mousse with 3 dots of rose jam. The construction on its own is remarkable, but you really do get the flavor precision and interplay of a high-end plated dessert. It's like magic.
What about if I'm gifting to someone I don't know super well, but I do want to impress them?
Yes. Well, here's two approaches you could take. One would be sticking with a more conservative choice. And I feel very validated by your anecdote, Christine, about your wedding gift from La Maison du Chocolat.
Yeah.
Because what first comes to mind is our La Maison du Chocolat pick, which also happens to be vegan. Again, listeners, it is not a demerit if a box of chocolates happens to be vegan. You don't have to be vegan to enjoy it. And this box is fruit ganache. Each little baton, which is just beautifully precise little tall standing rectangle of ganache coated in chocolate, has an infusion of fruit flavor. It's very sleek. And I think a really good chocolate can make a person feel like a connoisseur.
Yeah.
Because you take a bite and it looks like pure chocolate, but you get, this like singing bright note of yuzu or of passion fruit. And I think it can elevate the person who's tasting it because they can taste this ephemeral, invisible flavor, and it makes them feel like they have a palate.
So it's not like when I'm drinking wine and I'm like, yeah, I am getting tar.
Well, to that point, though, I think like everyone has probably had some kind of experience with food or drink where they don't necessarily know that much about this type of food, but when they taste a really good version of it, it's like your eyes are opened. Oh, wow, this can be so much better than I even thought that it could be. I've had that experience with cheese. I've had that experience with coffee, wine, chocolate. So I do think that that's a lovely gift for someone who don't know super well. I guess you do want to find out if they like chocolate, but what kind of monsters don't like chocolate?
Well, the other recommendation is sort of in a different category, which is the recchiuti, which for several years now has been our overall pick. And that is more conventional in the sense that it's a box of bonbons with different shapes. You have dark chocolate, you have white chocolate. Each filling is distinct. It's not like this more monolithic, ganaches with different flavors that you would get out of the Maison du Chocolat. But it is a very refined version of a filled box of chocolates. And I do think that it is a crowd pleaser because it has familiarity, but also it is heightened in a way that is very obvious.
So this is like a farm-to-table style person. They shop organic. They maybe grow mushrooms at home. They hike. They're basically like back to the land foodies.
Yeah. I had mentioned recchiuti. They're a California brand, Bay Area. And so what that means in culinary parlance is that they have relationships with farmers and they are sourcing herbs from farmers. They are using local and seasonal ingredients. That's also true on the other coast. We have Ragged Coast Chocolates, which is a Maine-based brand.
Love them.
Okay, Rosie.
I know. I'm completely impartial.
There's a certain rusticity to Ragged Coast, which maybe is a little bit implied by the name, but they also have a commitment to using local ingredients when possible. They do project a certain salt of the earth vibe in
Maine folksiness.
And yes, the chocolates are unfussy,
but also so elevated.
Yes. Can I add one more
please,
to the back to the lander? The dandelion single origin truffle.
The ones with the truffles, right? Okay.
It's all about the land. It's about the cacao bean, where it's from, how it's grown. It's a very modern presentation. Each chocolate looks exactly the same, except they have a different design painted on top to differentiate them. They're these beautiful, perfect cubes and quite big. But at the end of the day, it's really about the crop. It's really about the crop and how it was processed.
Can we taste?
Yeah, let's do this.
We've waited
This is the only reason I showed up today.
Clearly.
All right.
All right. Gabby, where should we begin here?
Okay, that's a really good question. Perhaps with just like the baseline, the dandelion, because this one is 100% chocolate.
Okay, and so we're opening it up, and what do we have?
Oh, my Lord.
Aren't they stunning?
Those are gorgeous because they're so simple.
Really
it's like
nice.
they're just little squares of chocolate with these beautiful gold kind of embossed tops that are like different designs. So beautiful.
Stunning.
Very classy.
All right, so let's look at the legend.
Okay, so you've got Tumaco, Colombia, Costa Emerald. No, let's just stop right now. We've got some from Colombia, Ecuador, Belize, Tanzania, and Madagascar. Oh, my.
Okay.
I want Madagascar.
You're doing Madagascar. I will do... Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do Belize.
God, these are big. These are big pieces of chocolate.
They are. They're really indulgent.
Okay. All right. I'm more like into the texture. It's got this like wonderful, crisp chocolate shell, and then you go into the ganache, and it's the most creamy, beautiful, and it's kind of like, to me, it's almost like coffee-ish. It's a little bit like burnt, not in a bad way, but like toasted, you know?
God, it settles in a different... It's so nice. Yum.
I would serve this with a little espresso. It'd be like the perfect dessert.
Oh, yeah, you just kind of put one on the saucer.
Yeah.
Very, very classy.
Yes.
Let's do Ragged Coast next.
Ragged Coast, beautiful.
I love that this one comes with a little map. It's like a topographical map. Is it the coast that we're seeing on this?
I think it must be. So, okay. So we got caramels. We've got milk chocolate. We've got dark chocolate.
These are pretty. If you are used to that American-style chocolate, like you were saying earlier, I feel like this would be one that visually you would feel good about.
Yeah. And I love it when shapes get thrown into.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm doing lemon, and it's shaped like a heart. I'm getting a lot of white chocolate in it.
Yeah.
But the inside is really good. I'm not getting a huge amount of lemon out of this, actually. But it's good. It's really good.
It's not as refined. It's good, but it's not as refined as some of the other ones.
The last one we're going to try here is this Stick With Me, this cutie box. And this has a big stamp on it that says made without nuts.
These are like little jewels.
They are.
They're little round fancy jewels. My kids would freak out over this. They're shiny. They're kind of like gorgeous.
Okay, so what are our options here?
Okay, so you've got a lot of options.
That looks like a yuzu, that orange and yellow one. Looks like yuzu.
I'll go for yuzu.
Now, there are flavors in this one. Do you love that? That's the yuzu?
It's like kick you in the face yuzu.
Wow.
It is.
I mean, so that's
really
not
good.
for everyone, probably. But
if you don't like yuzu, this is not.
I'm going to do the house dark one because I'm feeling like going traditional chocolate. It's so pretty.
Okay, let's see.
Oh my God, this is so good.
Believe it or not, even after trying like hundreds of chocolates for work, I still am like a little girl. I'm so excited to dig into these.
This is very special. I love how, again, similar to the dandelion, it has a really thin, delightful shell, and it's a little bit softer to me. It's really, really nice.
That's so nice.
Yeah. If you were throwing a dinner party and you wanted to wow your guests with something amazing at the end of it, I would serve one of these.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what'd you
All
try?
you need is one.
You look
passion
happy.
of fruit.
Oh.
I love fruit and chocolate.
Gabby, this was one of the better days of my life. So thank you so much for joining us to talk about chocolates and to take us through this tour. This was really, really fun. And I hope that it will help some people out for February, Valentine's Day, wedding, anniversary,
All
birthday.
those big gifts. It's been a pleasure.
It was mine. Thank you.
Rosie, are you in a chocolate coma?
I am blissed out. That was a treat.
That was super fun. So what are you taking away from this episode?
I think for me, one of the things that was most heartening is recognizing or realizing that there are so many options that are good, high quality options for folks with dietary restrictions, particularly vegans. And then that whole box of Stick With Me chocolates that were nut-free. And not just nut-free, but like had that badge right on the top, safe. I could go in without worry. And that's really nice.
Those are great. And so those are really great options also if you don't know who you're gifting to.
Yes.
If you don't know if they have allergies, that might be a good choice. So I love that. I also love that a lot of people who don't have allergies really like the vegan chocolates.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's pretty interesting. For me, my big takeaway is that I'm not going to be a curmudgeon about the high price of these boxes. It really helped to understand the level of care and quality that's going into a lot of this boxed chocolate.
The last thing for me, I think, is that, these are incredibly high end. We're very lucky to have tasted these. There's also the old standbys that are standbys for a reason and classic. And then there's grocery store chocolate, and then there's bars. There's so many things you can reach for if you're not feeling good about reaching for something at a higher price point.
Yeah, no
that
judgment.
Can delight somebody.
Yeah, if you like it, you like it. And those also, they all have their place. So
love it. That's it for us. We will be back with a new episode next week. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
The Wirecutter Show is executive produced by me, Rosie Guerin, and produced by Abigail Keel. Engineering support from Maddie Mazziello and Nick Pittman. Today's episode was mixed by Catherine Anderson. Original music by Dan Powell, Marian Lozano, Elishabeth Etup, Rowan Nemisto, Catherine Anderson, and Diane Wong. Cliff Levy is Wirecutter's deputy publisher and general manager. Ben Fruman is Wirecutter's editor-in-chief.
I'm Christine Cyr-Clisette.
And I'm Rosie Guerin. Thank you for listening.
Have you bought anything recently that you love? It could be a wire cutter pick or not.
It is a soft close toilet seat.
Oh, what a follow-up to box chocolates.
Wow.